Okay.
Good evening.
Shoot.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
everybody.
Welcome
How's
to the MLB Roundtable at Lenny Mullick, FantasySports.com. And tonight, I'm Mitch Hartson. I have the pleasure of serving as a moderator. And of course, we have with us tonight Andrea Lamont. Hello, Andrea.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
We have the irrepressible Doug. Doug, welcome.
Hi,
Doug
I'm
Ball
Doug.
and Joe Tardick. Good evening, Joe.
I'm in the upper
How's it
left
going?
corner.
So we're going to have an interesting discussion tonight on a number of things, to include some of the squeezy, stinky, wishy-washy stuff that the pitchers are allegedly putting on their hands and taking from their gloves or their hats, but we'll get to that in a minute. I just want to do a quick review. We know how many people are injured. Doug gave me some really interesting numbers, Doug. I'll call on you in a minute. Those numbers will blow your socks off. But just some recent information. Zach Gallen's still out there doing bullpen sessions. Luke Weaver's out there on the DL. He's actually been moved to 60-day DL. Wasker Inoa, Atlanta Braves, came back to the dugout all ticked off because he got hit, rammed his hand into the side of the wall, which is not generally good for a pitcher. And he's out for 60 days. Travis d'Arnaud is also 60 days. And, of course, we know about Marcell Ozuna, but we don't know how long he will be gone because he's both on the IL and he's facing potential disciplinary charges. And there's Mike Soroka. One of my buddies actually picked up Mike Soroka. He's down towards the bottom of the league, so I think he's just getting him for next year, which is not a bad move. He's not back anytime soon. John Means, Baltimore Oriole, no-hitter, shoulder tendonitis or whatever. He's on the 10-day IL. They don't talk like it's horrible. Austin Hayes is still out there. Jock Peterson is having some lower back issues. He's technically not on the DL. Javier Baez is day-to-day. I'm only talking about the relatively big players. Trevor Story is on the 10-day DL. He was put on there on June 4th. It's a thumb issue. Spencer Turnbull's on the DL. Lance McCullers for Houston is on the DL and is ready to pitch a simulated game. Mondesi, after all you fans who kept Mondesi patiently for all these weeks, he played 2 or 3 games and he's back on the injured list. Danny Duffy is throwing from 90 feet. Max Muncy. You know the Dodgers are missing Muncy. I want to talk about the All-Star. Who are the leading All-Star candidates later on if we have time? Max Muncy's on my list, folks. Tony Gonsolin's coming back. He is expected to be reinstated this Wednesday. Tony Gonsolin is worth a pickup if he's still sitting out there. Corey Seager apparently will be back sooner. I thought that he, folks, was out for a long time, but they're talking about him starting a rehab. I picked up Eliezer Hernandez. He came out and pitched 5 innings of terrific baseball. He ran from third base to home and ended up flat on his stomach and had to be helped off the field. And now Eliezer Hernandez, my pickup from last weekend, is out on the 60-day list.
Yeah.
Byron Buxton is out. Kenta Maeda is out. Nelson Cruz is day-to-day. Nemo is still out. McNeil is due back, hopefully, within the next 2 weeks. Luke Voigt is out. Severino, a great waiver wire pickup. If he's sitting out there, do not sleep on Severino. Trent Grisham hurt me. He's a great baseball. Maybe great is too strong. Let's say good, okay? Good. Helps you in several categories. Brandon Belt's out. Longoria's been hot. He's on the 10-day DL, as is Mike Yastrzemski. Kikuchi is out for the Mariners. Actually, he's day-to-day. He's not on the IL. And that's pretty much the rundown. So let's go on to our next topic. Do any of you got anything you want to throw in right now on that issue?
I have like 6 or 7 on my team with it, so the list is nothing new.
Yeah.
I heard that Byron Buxton's starting a rehab tomorrow, which that's a little bit of good news.
Yes.
That'll throw on there. And I think Sereno's a good pickup too, but they're starting him at low A, so he's going to be in the minors longer than he's not a week away, is what I'm saying. He's probably still 3-4 weeks away.
He needs about another 4 weeks, Doug.
Yeah.
Mike Trout plans on jogging soon, and Chris Sale is throwing the live batters in the immediate future. So just a couple.
Yes, Andrea.
Oh, I was just I was looking at the link that Douglas shared earlier, and I think I'll put this link in the chat room because
Isn't that interesting?
I mean, I think it's interesting too that they put the number of days with money, like the amount of money that it's. Go ahead.
It's the nature of that site. That site is called Sport Track, and their thing is that they track salaries.
Right.
So they care more about that than most people. I was just looking for a place where I could find everybody who's injured in one spot, and that's the best list I found. So
as far as the amount of money that is, I mean, it is startling the amount of money that has been on the injured list so far this year, which is 146,480,000 and 524. I don't even know how to say that number. That's how big it is.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think the teams have to pay this. I'm pretty sure that oh my gosh, there's some kind of thing flying around in my room.
There's likely some kind of insurance that they have, right?
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at some of these numbers and it is startling.
There are 3 guys on that list that said are getting paid nothing, which I think it's just they don't have the information. So
how is that possible that they're getting paid nothing?
I think it's that they're unable to get the information. That information, a person's salary is technically private information unless they release it in some way. So those guys work hard at finding it. So it's not unreasonable to say that of the 700 players that are playing, they don't have information on 10 or 11 players. I'm
not sure that I won't say that you're wrong because
I'm formulating a possible guess as to why they're missing those players. If you look at who they are, they're nobody really that good. You know?
I think everybody's salary is listed in this website. I use this website all the time, and you could find lots of information about players' contracts in here. I mean, I go here on a lot, and I've never seen any person's page that didn't have their contract information and their, they're obviously their payroll is part of that.
The great majority of the people are in there. I want to welcome to our chat room, George.
I will throw out that one number.
What's that?
There's 245 people on that list. Just that's the other part.
It blows your mind. George has joined us tonight. Merle Hartson is with us tonight. Daniel Ferrara is with us tonight. Lenny is with us tonight. Who else we got in the chat room? I invited Lou Blasi a few minutes ago.
Oh, Classy Lou Blasi. I like it.
Yeah, I sent a tweet to Lou Blasi saying, "Hey, come hang out with us."
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like it. So yeah, Andrea, go ahead.
No, please. I will follow what you guys are doing. Sometimes I talk too much.
No, don't we all?
I would say this: if anybody out there is good with electronic programming, if you could invent a site where you could punch in your fantasy team's guys, and you get a list of how many days your guys were injured, how many injuries you had for the year, you'd be making some money off that. People would pay to advertise on it. I would like to know, because it seems to me like every 3 weeks, I get my team to a point like, all right, I'm pretty good right now, and then I lose a bunch of guys. And it's been doing that all year long. Right now, my outfield stinks in this one league. I mean, it's okay, but I've been going, I'm set. I got players. I'm sure I'm going to lose a bunch of people.
I had Trout, Harper, and Lewis Robert in my outfield. So that
I think that goes to his question about the All-Star team. It's like, if you're looking at the American League All-Star team, if you said before the season, you would be considering Trout definitely, likely Robert, likely Eloy Jimenez. And you wind up going down to these lesser players.
That's why I added the All-Star team to our list of topics, because it's a fun thing. The thing that's really hurt me almost as much as having injured players. Everybody has them. There's no point in griping. Everybody in your league has got them, and many of them. But here's the thing. My league, one of the 15-team league I'm in, one of them, gave us additional IL slots, but be careful what you wish for. So I put 3, 4 people on the IL list. Then when they came back, and I replaced them with others. Then when it was time for them to come back, I had to dump players that I didn't want to dump. I went out and spent, no, seriously.
That's your worst problem, dude?
I spent fab money to replace them. And some of the people I got in fab were performing as well or better than them. And I had to dump players because when they came back off the IL, we only have 7 reserve slots. And that's it. So I had to dump people.
I don't feel bad for you, dude.
You know?
No.
No.
Okay.
But this is where you make your money in your fantasy leagues, picking up those replacements.
Then you can trade them or what?
Tucker Davison replacing a Noah. That's another, young kid that may, grab a 5th spot in that rotation.
Okay,
wait. I want to bring up one thing. Yesterday, during George's show, is George here or not? He always is popping in and out.
George is here.
He is here? I don't see his name. I'll wait till he comes back. But I did. Yesterday, we were having a discussion with in the chat room while George's show was going on, and George was in it too. We were talking about whether or not it would be a good idea to trade. Or actually, we were just talking about Luis Castillo. Would you trade for who's this youngster that hasn't even come up yet? Who was it?
Vidal Brujan.
Oh no. Okay, yes, Vidal Brujan. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart for a second, but
we're all here to help.
You, Douglas, we're supposed to go home and do some and come back today and tell me why you think that Luis Castillo shouldn't have been drafted where he was drafted and what. Because I keep asking Douglas what it is about Luis Castillo that he doesn't like.
You can throw it out there. Like when I sit up, all right, sorry to hijack your show. When I start at the beginning of the year, and I think everyone does something pretty similar. You do something called you do something called ranking of players. Like you know that you want Shane Bieber
based
more
on
than
what though? Based on something. So just tell me what it is about Luis Castillo that you don't like.
He's had one good season. That's it. I look at him and I go, this guy is a tier 3 player.
Okay. A tier 3.
It was like 1 is super elite and very small, but 2 has guys like Trevor Bauer and Max Scherzer in it.
Let's get this over with quickly.
So it comes down to the fact that there are these guys that have very limited track record that have had a decent year or two.
But you trade him for a guy with 0 track record.
No, I wouldn't do that trade.
I know what I was trying to say was that Luis Castillo is so down right now that you should be able to get him for less than Vidal Brujan, and Vidal Brujan is so high right now that you should be able to get more than Luis Castillo for him. That was the gist of what I was trying to say.
Like, if you're somebody that's been living under a rock for the past 2 years and you think that Castillo, for some reason, you've never liked him. Like, even
he's had one good season.
But
and there's a lot of guys that one good season.
As your basis for not liking somebody, then it really wrecks your reasoning.
He was drafted overall in the spring training as the 10th best starting pitcher. That is outright insane. Now, if you had said 16th best pitcher,
insane? Why?
Because there's no reason. There is absolutely no reason to say that the guys that are behind him are substantially better.
How?
Like Clayton Kershaw.
Okay,
Douglas. They finish higher in things like wins, strikeouts, ERA, and WHIP.
Douglas,
mostly in ERA.
Douglas.
Okay. They don't finish higher in strikeouts, dude. They just
Lance Lynn does.
Best
Craig Morton does.
Starter
Charlie Morton, you think?
Andy, all of you.
In like 1989.
Starter in the Cincinnati rotation. If you said, go ahead.
Before the season, I would have said Sonny Gray, but I have dropped him in my thinking based on what I've seen this year.
Andy,
what?
Who's the best starter in the Cincinnati rotation?
Currently?
I mean, how could you not say it's Luis Castillo? Who
in
the
right 590, mind? 591 ERA.
I'm waiting for you to get Joe. Who's the best starter in the Cincinnati rotation?
Right now, performing well. I like Tyler Mahle in that rotation still.
I think Wade Miley is the best starter.
No, I'm not saying he's better than Luis Castillo, but right now.
Right. So, have you looked at Wade Miley's numbers?
Yeah, I can. I can look them up.
Wade Miley, right now, I would respectfully submit to you.
He's 34.
The best starter in the Cincinnati rotation.
Winnie, why are you smiling?
He's got around a 3.4 ERA, right? Andy, you looking it up?
Yeah, he's got a 2.96 ERA and a 1.13 WHIP with 48 strikeouts in 54 innings.
That's pretty good. Plus, he's throwing a no-hitter.
But
we can agree that a performance is not the same as the best.
But this is season-long, Andrew.
But
we're a third of the way through the season, dude. A third of the way.
I'm not saying he'll be the best pitcher all summer long.
The argument that between Douglas and I is he just doesn't think Luis Castillo is a good pitcher.
Why would you pick? It's hard to say. These things are a little bit of nuance based on what you've seen of the player. And a player that reminds me a lot of Tyler Mahle, who's a good player too. And I'm not Tyler Mahle, Luis Castillo, who I didn't say was horrible. But can you really voice what the real difference is between Luis Castillo and a guy that I think is very close to him, Tyler Glasnow?
Absolutely.
Right?
It's the number of innings that he's capable of pitching. It's the length, the deep to the games that he pitches. No, he's not I don't say that he's really like an overall better pitcher than Glasnow, but Glasnow, first of all, did not have close to as many different pitches as Luis Castillo does. He also can't go 6 or 7 innings every start. He also probably can't throw 200 innings because we've never seen him do it. So those three reasons.
There is the one thing in there that I agree with is that Castillo is more likely to throw 200 innings than the Glasnow is.
Do you not agree that he
has more pitches, but I don't know that having more pitches makes you a better pitcher.
No, because Tyler Glasnow has 2++ pitches.
Yeah.
You've got Castillo who's got a ++ changeup, but his fastball is not unhittable. Glasnow's fastball is insane. Plus, obviously, his curveball. But by the way, Glasnow I think he's first or second innings pitches there, and he's gone 7 innings quite more frequently than I thought.
Which is a little better
this year. He's having a great year.
Yeah.
This is my opinion is based on what we were talking about going into the season, where we were going to draft these guys. With Douglas saying that he doesn't think that Luis Castillo should have been drafted where he was being drafted, which is right around Clayton Kershaw and Glasnow too. But that's my reasoning for choosing Castillo over Glasnow early. And I have Glasnow and I love him. I'm super happy about him. I just I don't trust him the way that.
And me saying that Castillo should have been drafted in the 4th round instead of the 2nd round isn't in any way, shape, or form saying he's a horrible pitcher.
No,
Kershaw was being drafted in the 4th round.
The problem is you had 10. You had 10
overall in FBC. 10th overall.
You had 9 or 10
pitchers.
Stud pitchers. You had pitchers 11 through 22, 23 were pretty even across the board.
He's in that category, and I think that in that category we can name a number of guys.
Aaron Nola, Luis Castillo.
Aaron Nola is a personal.
Andrea could have drafted him 11th, and I could have got him 24th, just where I thought he was in the tier.
Yeah, that's right. Can we?
And I would have probably drafted Castillo 24th, but every year a bunch of people come along and they get hyped up on somebody based on numbers. And yes, those underlying numbers are important at some level. The thing is that there's tiers of what goes on. The most important thing in baseball is the win. And for us in fantasy, the most important thing are things like strikeouts, ERA, WHIP, wins, RBIs, runs, no matter what anyone says.
Okay.
When you're trying to find a reason to believe in somebody who has a 6 ERA like Luis Castillo,
see, that's just how you do.
Then you go into the back. You go to the numbers that have no effect on the game and go, he should be better than his numbers.
Your jabs are insanity, dude.
Let's move on to sticky.
Your jabs, the way that you go about how you say stuff if you're going to try to justify why you believe in some pitcher with a 6 ERA. Crap like that. It's totally unnecessary.
No, the thing about it is that the 6 ERA is tangible and real to the game of baseball.
How about the 50% left on base?
That's actually something that's real. It's a little less important than runs scored, but it is real.
I don't know what's wrong with Castillo this year, but your jabs are not necessary because he is a good pitcher. And if you are going to say, hold on.
A guy in the same situation who I was completely wrong about, very similar pitcher, drafted in the same thing, who's showing to be better than that spot, is Corbin Burns.
This is not just a whim, dude. That Luis
I would say
is not just like, I'm going to like him.
It is a whim.
Doug Andrea. Doug's not saying Castillo is bad. What Doug, I hear him saying.
He said he was going to. He said that
ahead of about 6 pitches he shouldn't be ahead of.
Hey, I'll let you talk. Can I finish?
Yeah, I'll go back to you.
I don't hear Doug saying Castillo stinks. What I hear Doug saying is Castillo is not a top 10 starting pitcher.
Right, but he won't tell me why. He says that it's based because his reasoning
Why
is
is
based on the
just
fact
so I get
that
an idea of what you're looking for.
I want
Based
to
on
know
this thing, though,
yeah.
answer the question for somebody that everyone knows. Why do you think Clayton Kershaw is not a top 10 starting pitcher?
Because of his back issues. That's it. That's the only reason, because of his back issues.
Just because of his back issues.
Very simple
And so I say is
answer.
that the thing about Castillo is that he's had one legitimate season where he's had an
Not
ERA
true.
under 4.
Okay.
That's true.
Douglas
But
Kershaw.
you'll trade him for a guy that's never been in the major leagues. Okay.
But right now, Vidal Brujan is probably the third most talked about. Ask Joe Tardif. In leagues that you're at, if you were just to offer,
what about
I want to trade.
They play the same position on the same team.
Wander Franco would probably get a little bit more.
And is that a problem?
Would you trade Wander Franco for Luis Castillo?
Hell no, I would not. For Castillo, I would take every
in
day.
my dynasty league, I would take Wander Franco in the dynasty league for sure.
And as I'm saying, so you have like Wander Franco, probably Bobby Witt.
I like it. I like Castillo. I picked him up 3 starts into his minor league career before he got the hype. Had him on my roster. Had him for 4 years. I like his
stuff. For more than 1 year. Yes.
He's had 2 good years, counting last year.
He's had good years, but there's the issues with him is it's been his only issue this year. Actually, 2. His velocity is a little down, and his changeup isn't as good.
His velocity is not down.
It's been down most of the year. It's starting to come back a little bit, but his changeup is not the elite changeup that he's had previous years.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
But okay,
I don't know. I'm
willing to move on completely.
Well, I'm saying that Corbin Burns was in the same boat, and I was wrong about him.
He
was better than that.
Let's move on to the issue of
biggest topic.
MLB reportedly plans to go all out to detect and take action against pitchers using illegal substances, which has probably been going on for the whole 200-year history of baseball. It may be worse, but what upsets me the most, and Andrew, you gave me an excellent article and gave it to everyone else, and the spin rates, the Dodgers were number 1 in the improvement of spin rates. But what bothers me the most, they have the temerity to suggest that the umpires can check the pitcher's hats and gloves periodically during the game, and that this will not slow down the game, as Lenny would say, bull donkey and poppycock, because let me tell you why. At the end of the third inning, they come out and check Garrett Cole's hat and find contraband substances, and they evict Cole, and they claim, well, they can evict Cole after 3 innings, and they'll do it between innings. Look, I just didn't fall off a turnip truck. You have to warm somebody up. Do you know how much it's going to delay the game if they start throwing pitchers out in the middle of the game? The game's going to take all night long to play. Am I missing something here?
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to make the managers do it. I think they're going to force the pitching coaches into monitoring their team and to keep them from.
They should be doing that anyway. You're right, Andy.
They're going to make everybody police themselves, and hopefully it's not going to work, but hopefully put it under the rug, eliminate some of it by doing that without them having to say we're the bad people that took care of this. That's just MLB. They don't want to be the ones that do this.
I hope they do it, and I really hope they do start punishing pitchers for doing it, because or change the rules. Either let it happen or don't. But MLB is the worst when it comes to this stuff. They are the worst. They don't even care about the sticky substances.
No, they don't.
They care about their public image. So when the public and the players start speaking out and they start being very vocal about the fact that they can't hit the ball because it's like a wiffle ball, And
they're
Bauer,
reactive, not proactive.
I think Bauer's doing it on purpose. I honestly do. I think.
Did any of you see Austin Voth take it in the nose yesterday?
No, I didn't. He got
it's
hit in the
horrible.
face. I didn't see it.
He was trying to bunt. He took a pitch right off his nose from Velasquez.
But back to the substance thing, did you guys notice the spin rate difference the day after the supposed crackdown from Bauer and Cole?
Yeah. Which that's even more.
Even Corbin Barnes went down, but it was his best start of the year. But they were.
That's actually more damning. That's like when you're speeding and you slow down and your car lurches up.
Bauer doesn't care if he gets caught. He wants to get caught. I promise you that. I just
He'll make a t-shirt
more
with it.
respect for Trevor Bauer than almost any player in baseball.
He
the guy's
wants
a
them
flake,
to-
but he, you know what? In one way, he's more honest than anybody.
He has been wanting them to do something about this problem for years. And he says they will not do anything about it until if they say they're going to do something. I mean, he had a post-game interview after the spin rate went down, right? And they asked him straight up if he had been using sticky substances. And he says that he doesn't really answer the question. He basically says, I've been talking about this, and all I've ever wanted is a level playing field. So if MLB is going to do something about it, I hope they do. And then, we won't have this problem. But the problem is that they don't do anything about it. I really think that he wants to get caught. I really do.
Yeah, Malpal's in the chat room, and he says, put out fines to the coaches and the managers. And Malpal's absolutely right, and the front office.
I do think
Malpal 100%.
I do think the Major League Baseball cares a little bit, not so much about somebody breaking the rules, but they care about what their game looks like when everyone's batting .230. That's the part they care about, and that's why they're making the move now.
That's it. Yeah. What's the difference? What is the difference?
It's just bad. It's much more worse baseball to watch as a fan, and that's what they need as the consumers.
When they have something that's right in front of their faces to fix the game and they don't do anything about it, but rather they try all these ridiculous rules out that you can't throw a guy out if you're a pitcher at first base. You can't throw over there to first base to tag him out more than twice.
They're trying those out in little Northern League and weird little groupings.
Why do you think they're trying them out, Douglas? Why do you think they're doing them?
To find out what the problems are with them, to see if they work, if they have any real merit.
To see if they
and
work.
A lot of them aren't. Yeah, a lot. Well, they have like the one we know, they have that automatic walk rule. Has it really saved them time? No, they know that now. At the same time, it's kind of a weird thing to throw the pitches. It's like not everything that they try in those weird leagues is going to come to be, and a lot of them aren't.
Douglas, they need to fix a problem that's right in front of their face.
And the problem is,
the
real problem is that there's no offense. That's the real problem.
Yeah, can I ask a stupid question?
Why do you think there's no offense? They can't hit the ball. Did you read the article I sent?
And why did they not hit the ball? Because the ball is moving.
Because it looks like a wiffle ball.
It's moving where it's not. So they're doing what they're supposed to do.
And you're using you're moving the players to both sides of the field. You can't get a ground ball single. Does anybody use a rosin bag? Have you seen one pick up a rosin?
Yes, they're allowed to use rosin and sunscreen. That's legal, both of those things.
No, it's true. I can't
remember the last time, Joe. Have you seen any pitchers pick up a rosin bag?
Why do they need it? They don't need it.
Have you seen any pitchers pick up a rosin bag?
I've seen it because the rosin and sun lotion is the normal sticky substance that's
not anymore, dude. They've upgraded.
That's they definitely upgraded, but that's the one that most of the players you see in comments are like, oh, okay, that's all right. But the stuff where you can palm a brick and hold in your hand, that's the one that they're trying to. I've seen that stuff before, and it's exactly as advertised.
They said that the freaking MLB label was literally ripped off the baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and they can hear the pitches squeak. They say it sounds like a Band-Aid being ripped off when a pitcher releases the ball.
You know what? Wouldn't you? I'd be a little bit scared to be standing up there at the plate right now. And I keep wondering why they don't bunt. How many times have we seen guys seriously hurt now trying to bunt? They're either getting their finger hit by the baseball. I can't believe I'm saying this, but bunting is a high risk activity. It looks like to me.
They don't bunt because there's no entertainment value or money behind it.
There's a couple players that get hit all the time, and to me that says that you need to back up a little bit, okay?
Well, it's also the other way around. I read a stat about a left-handed pitcher on San Diego. I kind of like Austin Adams.
Right.
He's faced 66 batters, and he's hit 11 of them. He's only allowed 10 base runners outside of the hit batsman.
So the sticky substances is supposed to be giving you a better grip on the ball, and it does that. But at the same time, it gives a lot more spin. So you can go out there and just huck it like 100 miles an hour as hard as you can, and it will get its own spin. But these youngsters, do you agree that part of this problem with the hitting batters is that they don't know how to pitch yet? They shouldn't be in the major leagues, most of these guys.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to say any problem with anything is just one thing. But yeah, that's contributing factors, no doubt.
Correct.
So should they just look the other way? Do we have anybody voting?
No, I'd like to see a little more hitting.
I'd like to make it legal.
Huh?
I don't think they should look the other way, but some of the substance they're using right now, legalize it and change the ball back. If you're going to let the pitchers rip and spin rate, give me the ball that I can hit 450 feet on them.
Joe, I agree.
That would.
I say cut. You know, they legalized substances back in 1922 or whatever. So
they're trying to make their own right now. So MLB is literally creating their own sticky substance.
Well, that is always the argument about letting them do something. It's like you actually, no batter really wants a pitcher to be throwing with a brand new ball.
I have a confession to make.
What's wrong with rosin and sunscreen like they've been using?
I have a confession to make. I use a performance-enhancing substance every morning when I get up.
Lotion?
A little blue pill?
Coffee.
Oh. I always say my standard line about PEDs is that
coffee. Huh?
if you're really against PEDs, you just don't understand the music of Miles Davis.
Say that again?
Miles Davis. You don't understand the music of Miles Davis if you're against PEDs. Because without marijuana, that wouldn't be there.
I'm a big Miles Davis fan. Okay, Joe, let's move on to your topic you suggested for tonight. Soon to be called up and recent call-ups, sir.
I think I'll start with recent because that was the one I kind of tackled first.
All right.
Unfortunately, I found out as today this was happening, but Jared Kalenic got sent back down.
He had to. Okay.
Yeah. So I was starting to write this as it was going on, but 31% strikeout rate. Now, the only thing that did transition, and I do like, he did have 3 stolen bases, so you could, and 2 home runs. You can kind of see the speed power combo coming, but there just wasn't any contact at all. I tried to find the numbers on it, and they're just not good. There's a lot.
Contact rate?
Yeah, like his contact rate, his barrel rate.
No, he got a little overwhelmed. All the pressure in that.
Oh, yeah, no, he definitely got overpowered.
Yeah.
But hopefully, maybe he comes back up and he's Trammell, the guy they set back down. He's come up and he's got 3 or 4 doubles in first 3 or 4 games. Yep. Let's see. Next one was Manoah. One really awesome start against the Yankees, and all of his stuff looks really good because I think he throws 3 or 4 plus pitches, and then backs it right up against against the Marlins and just looked bad. I chalk that up as maybe a little bit of inexperience because I think he only threw 20 innings last year. It was I don't think he has many starts at Double-A at all or Single-A.
He never played at either single or double. He's played at AAA only, and that was
I like his stuff. His stuff's good. Throws mid-90s fastball, got a good changeup, got a good curveball. I think his stuff's good, but I think this is the ups and downs you're going to see all year with him.
I agree.
He had a great spring, though. I loved his spring. That's how I like. Yeah.
I believe the Yankees side, maybe a little bit of the Marlins with the walks, because I think that's going to come with the inexperience. But the Yankees is more believable than what I've seen against the Marlins. I think that's I think we'll see more of that than the Marlins side, for sure.
Yeah, I think the kid Gilbert is actually pitching better.
He'll be on my next list.
Gilbert?
Yep. Gilbert is the next one. So Gilbert, I've had him for a couple of years. I looked pedestrian the first three starts, but they were only letting him go 4 innings, 60, 70 pitches. The last 2 have looked pretty good. I think he went 106 pitches last night and 87 the start before. And he's starting to throw his changeup because the write-up on him was great fastball. The slider and curveball, they really weren't sure what was his best offering. Looks like it's the slider. But the changeup was something he's worked on that you couldn't really find any write-up for. He threw it 9 times last night and got three swinging strikes on it. So if he gets 3 pitches, I like Gilbert's upside as much as I do like Manoah's.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. My other side would be the ones that called up. Again, I wrote this before he got called up, but Kowar is coming up tonight at 9:30.
Oh.
I'm excited to see what he does. The thing with him that his biggest knock was his curveball was kind of fringy. They didn't know if his curveball can play up for a third pitch. But I guess he worked on it in the alternates tonight, and that's what's actually helping him in his starts now. He throws, obviously, he has the best changeup in minor league baseball. His fastball is 97, and if his curveball can be average to good, that's all he's really going to need. So I do like Kowar's upside if the curveball is, decent.
Okay. We'll be watching him.
Yeah.
He's probably still out there on a waiver. See, I'm in leagues that you can't draft minor leaguers. So we have to wait until they're called up, and then everybody's all over him like flies on sticky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he's the best of the 4 Royals pitchers that they drafted that year.
Okay.
Singer, you had
Bubic
Lynch.
and
Lynch.
Why is he the last one up then?
I have no idea why he was last. I know they didn't really call him up because he didn't have that third pitch. They wanted something else, and apparently it's there. So
Yeah, he looks great. This before he was called up, or he's called up today, but he's pitched 30 innings in the minors, and he hasn't allowed any home runs. He only has 3 earned runs in 31 and 2/3 innings, so 18 hits allowed. He's having an excellent season in the minors.
The only comparison I can find on his changeup is Yohan Santana's. The only one I've heard 2 or 3. There was 2 or 3 scouts that mentioned that's what they compare his changeup to.
Okay.
So if it's that good, then it's definitely worth watching.
What about his buddy Bobby Witt? Is he coming up soon too?
He's hot again, but I think they're going to keep him down a little bit longer. I don't think you'll see Bobby Witt to probably July, August.
Yeah, he needs some AAA time, doesn't he?
He's only 21.
Yeah. He's been real. He's kind of reminds me of he's kind of like Adele. He's been really hot where he hits 3-4 homers in 5 or 6 days, and then they're like, oh, he's getting hot, and then he has a really bad week.
But he's got 9 homers and 7 stolen bases already.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of Bobby Witt.
And Mondesi's injured again. If he's out for a long time, it might.
Yeah, they almost thought about pulling him up the first time, but they wanted him to get a little bit more bats. So if Mondesi is out long term, I would not be shocked that Bobby Witt gets called up, but I would think July.
Mondesi is showing as day to day, but he's suspect in my view. Can I interject one that I forgot? Scott Kingery was DFA'd. You see this W on my hat? I'm going to send a tweet to Mike Rizzo. Mike Rizzo, you signed Scott Kingery before midnight tonight, and you hand him the third base glove. Just shut up.
He's still under contract, right?
He was DFA'd. He's a free agent.
He has to be outrighted. He
was outrighted.
Really? Wow.
Scott Kingery was outrighted. Joe, go ahead. You had Jesus Sanchez?
Yeah, I was going to – she brought up Joe Adell. Joe Adell got hot again, got 4 home runs in 4 games again. His strikeout rate is coming down a little bit. I don't know which Joe Adell we're going to get, but in the 4 games.
Let me just say one thing about Joe Adell. He's never had a good strikeout rate. He's never had an acceptable strikeout rate. And so the fact that we have a problem with that now is pretty amazing to me, don't you think?
I don't think they wanted at 35% or 40%, but I think he struck out twice last week, and that's not bad.
No, not at all.
Joe, Malpal wanted me to ask you, make a choice, Kowar or Manoah?
Kowar.
You like Kowar better?
I've watched both of them. I have both of them on my dynasty roster. I've liked Kowar for a while.
Why do you choose him?
I like pitchers recently. who have their changeups are unbelievable. Like Giolito, what made Giolito go from the great prospect to struggle was that changeup developed, and he could throw the changeup in any part of the zone, high, low, inside, outside. It can be unhittable at times. If you give me a pitcher that can throw 95 to 97 and they have that good of a changeup, I like that combo better.
Bauer does.
Yeah. But that's usually where I tend to lean on pitchers. If the changeup is great, I'll take it. Manoah has a good changeup, but it's not elite. I think it's just there to give them the mix.
So your decision between the two, is that based in part on you thinking Coar sticks more? I mean, like, there's a chance these guys are going to go down. Do you think Coar is going to stick? Do you think Manoah is going to stick, or do you think?
I think between the two. I mean, don't get me wrong. Manoah has 4 pitches, which I like. I just think I like Coar's 2 that are plus. That's what I like the best about it. You got a great fastball and a great changeup. If you get a third pitch that's average to good, you'll strike out a lot of people in the current state of where we are in baseball currently.
So you are okay with just 2 pitches for a starting pitcher?
I want a third. If that changeup is developed, then I'm great. If he only throws 2, I mean, Freddie Peralta is an example. He threw 2. Now he's throwing a changeup. I didn't think Freddie Peralta knew how to throw a changeup, but that's been added, and that's taken Freddie Peralta from a high 4 ERA guy to going 6-7 innings, 7-8 Ks. So 3 pitches are good. You need 2 dominating pitches, but you need a third one that can at least, keep them off. That's what Gilbert was struggling with. Gilbert didn't have a changeup. He had a great slider and a good fastball, but he didn't have that changeup. I think that's a difference maker. I wish more coaches taught the changeup because a lot of coaches don't. I was never developed on a changeup, even though most of your good major league players now have a changeup somewhere that they throw.
Okay, how about Sanchez, Joe?
Jesus. I have a small man crush on him. I think they got him in that trade a while back. I'm trying to remember which one. Was it from the Brewers? I can't remember which trade they got him from.
Who's he going to?
He's in the Marlins now. He was on the Brewers.
Oh, okay.
But I think the Marlins need all the offense they can get. I mean, don't get me wrong. Aguilar's playing out of his mind. Jazz is playing well, but Jesus Sanchez just went under hitting 400. That's how hot he was for the entire since he's been up. He just dipped under. I think it's at 374 now. But he struck out only less than 20% of the time. So that was his problem. And his strikeout rate's down. He's up to 110 at bats. So, and he struck out what? I think I'm at. Yeah, strikeout rate's 21%, which is good.
That's acceptable. Where does he play?
Outfield.
Okay, how about Franco?
I just, other than the service time, I don't understand why Wander Franco is still sitting in the minors for that team.
Super 2, I think it's
Hello.
Yes.
No, I know the reason why. I'm just hoping when the Super 2, whenever that date hits, he gets called up because Walls isn't doing anything special for him. His defense has been solid, but his offense just.
Why did they move Window out of shortstop?
It's Tampa. Tampa does everything their own way.
They have 3 minor league shortstops ready to come up. Like, why would they take Wander Franco and bring him up before Vidal Brujan?
Yeah, and the thing with Wander is you're getting power, you're getting average, you're getting some stolen bases. I don't know the defense because they don't really talk about his defense, but his strikeout rate is under 20. He struck out 12 times in like 110 at bats.
Andy, I would put Franco at short and Brujan at second.
That would work. I just don't understand why they have 3 prospect shortstops. One of them is Wander Franco. Isn't he the least experienced of all 3 of these guys? They already called one of them up.
He's the biggest defensive liability of the entire group. Now I know Brujan, they've moved him to the outfield recently. Okay. I know that would kind of fill up a spot.
All 3 of these prospects have played multiple positions in the minors, so
yes.
I'm kind of not really being wholly truthful when I say that they're all middle infielders because they are playing other spots. But
if Tampa wants to win that division, Brujan and Wander Franco need to make appearances this summer. I know the team's good, but Boston's been not my homer hat, but Boston's been pitching and hitting well this year. So
I think Tampa.
They've been playing well in the division, and Tampa's biggest problem has always been offense.
I think they may have the best scouting in baseball. They got this guy Firesen in the Willie Adames trade. I never heard of the guy. He's been terrific.
Yep.
Where do they get that? Where do they get this intelligence on all these people?
Remember Jake Faria, who was like a 5th round pick, AA, came up, and he got him almost to 3/4 of the season and filled a rotation spot when they needed it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay, let's move on to my Believe It or Not segment. And my brother Merle's in the chat room, by the way. Ed Heckman has joined us.
Hi, Eddie.
Yeah, my brother Merle wanted me to start in Believe It or Not. We'll go around the table. Tell me if the player is doing great, whether they can keep it up, and if the player is not doing well. I have a list of some in both categories. First one is Patrick Wisdom. Believe it or not.
I would say not.
I got a not. Okay, Joe, why?
You just don't see 28, 29-year-old journeymen come in and hit 474 with 7 home runs in a week and stay.
Except for Max Muncy's the only person I know of. Max Muncy, in all the years I've been following baseball, is the only oldster that I know of who wasn't even in AAA and virtually had no chance and came to the Dodgers, and he's been solid ever since they gave him a chance to play. It is rare. It's rare. Andy, what do you say? Patrick Wisdom, believe it or not?
No. I mean, I believe he'll hit for power, and he'll strike out a lot. That's pretty much what I think. And it depends on how good he is defensively, if he'll even stay in the lineup when they get healthy.
Okay, Doug.
I wish it were true, but it isn't. I think that he's.
You're a cubby.
I think he's being inhabited by the spirit of Brian LaHare of the Cubs. And,
for some reason, I knew that's a good example. Brian LaHare was hot for a while.
He was really awesome for 3 or 4 weeks. The other thing is, even if Wisdom is good enough to make the team, which he was hitting like 170 in the minors,
right?
When everybody's healthy, and that of course is a big if. There's no room for him.
So that's right, because right fielder Hayward comes back. Peterson comes back, which moves Bryant back to third.
Yeah, and he plays first base, but Rizzo is there. So.
Okay, here's my next believe it or not. Jared Walsh, Los Angeles Angels.
Yes, he's real. He's real.
Real.
Yeah, he's real. He's my biggest regret from drafting. I had this thing where I kind of grouped players together, which got me in trouble at the beginning of the show. And I said there were all these young first basemen, and he was my favorite of the bunch, and I wasn't getting him because people were taking him ahead of me. And I really regret that. Then I'd wind up with a Bobby Dalbec.
Torres, does he turn it up?
No.
He's hitting the ball well now, but the home runs are not there, so I'm on not. No.
I think he should take a weekend boat trip with Cedric Mullins and just bat from one side of the plate, and I get behind it. He is so bad as a righty, is it? I would get confused which side. He's a switch hitter who stinks on one side. I
don't know. I have looked at his stats. I looked at his contact rate, his strikeout rate, and all of these stats that you don't see on the surface, and everything that he's doing is the same. He's not striking out that much more than he did.
But the results are different.
But what do you believe? What are you believing? Are you believing the high home run total? Because that's what he's been. Unfortunately, what he's been with the Yankees when he got called up. I don't think he's that guy.
No. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about the wrong player. Maybe.
I don't think he's that guy.
Albies has always been overrated. That's the thing about Albies.
Believe it or not, Francisco Lindor. Is he as bad as he looks?
No.
Actually, I was just noticing this weekend, I have Lindor on one team, that over the last 30 days, he was the 107th best player. Now, we want more out of Francisco Lindor than that.
Like top 20.
But that isn't bad,
107th out of everybody with as bad as everybody thinks. That's
with a 300 plus.
Yeah, no, he's making a lot of money. I'm not paying it on that team. I'm not paying one dime of that contract. but it's nice to have like he actually has merited the right to come off my bench and be my middle infielder.
I think when that team gets healthy, it will help him in the lineup too as well.
I agree. Believe it or not, Jesse Winker.
100% believe it. This is the guy. This is the talent they've thought that was there for a while, and he's done it in spurts. But this is the Jesse Winker that they expected to get when they called him up.
He's been in. Did I hear that he has like 7 stolen bases? Am I right?
Yeah, I'll check on that.
Hey, yeah. Can you check, Joe?
Yeah.
Where? When?
I think he's got some bags.
No.
He probably has 1 or 2, but
Jesse Winker?
Jesse Winker has no stolen bases.
No.
He was batting 350 with 17 home runs. But if you asked me this question yesterday, he would have been batting like 344 with 14 home runs.
Believe it or not, DJ LeMahieu.
I don't know what the hell. I just noticed him today. He's on one of my teams. He's benched. I don't even know what to do with him. He's
awful. And I heard today that the Yankees were the 23rd worst hitting team in baseball.
What in the hell is wrong with LeMahieu? Has he even got a hit yet?
New ball.
I mean,
thank you, Joe.
No,
yeah, his kind of hitting was the kind that the ball theoretically.
That's what helped him in Colorado and.
But to go from
New York
340 to hitting 250 is a huge drop.
So not only that, but he has no home runs and
3.
He's just horrible. I mean, I was surprised at how good he was when he left Colorado. Both Lenny and I were like, I don't think he's going to be that good. Like
when he left Chicago for Colorado, he was a no-hit all-field player.
Yeah.
No hit.
I think a lot of his struggles in the beginning of the year they were decimated. He was probably their only hitter in their lineup for a while.
Oh,
I think his average will come up, but the days of him hitting 25, 26 home runs with this ball are over.
Does he have any home runs?
That was fake anyway.
3. Well, that was he has 3 home runs.
That was 2019. Right?
Yeah, 2019 ball is going down history as the home run ball.
Believe it or not, Ryan McMahon.
Okay, but he still had 10 last year, which means he was on pace for 30. So
that's true.
Well, I mean, I drafted. I think about how I drafted LeMahieu in a lot of leagues,
but he's
and what I was expecting, I really wasn't expecting 28 home runs. I was expecting like 15, but I was expecting that average.
Yes, the batting average.
And I held out hope that he might hit 25 or 30 home runs. But it's like if he does 15 with that average, it'll balance a lot of things out. Hitting at the top of the Yankees lineup, the runs are going to be there. But the thing about it is that sometimes, much like last year with Boston, the whole team playing bad can make everybody look bad.
Yes.
And the Yankees are just having the kind of season the Red Sox had last year.
I believe that they're going to stop you. I believe, like, if you were a pitcher, would you stop using sticky substances before you got caught, or would you continue to keep using them?
I keep right on doing what I'm doing.
I keep doing it, figure out what penalty they're going to assess, and then fight it with the MLBPA.
I think
fight it.
Well, the PA will fight it. Maybe send it off till next year for appeals.
I think it depends on where you're at in your career. Like, I understand how somebody has a locked-in contract and go, I'll fight it. But I bet you, if you're somebody who's fighting to get his next contract, you're going to use a sticky substance till the bitter end.
Yeah.
Because what you need is every pitch to be as good as possible, so that you get a $200,000 raise instead of a $130,000 raise.
Mitch, your next guy you're going to talk of is interesting.
Okay, go ahead.
Who's the next guy I'm going to talk about?
Ryan McMahon.
Yes.
I wouldn't believe any Colorado hitters because they're playing the majority of their home games already. They're going to play more games on the road in the summer and the late. So Coors Field's not going to be a big advantage.
That's a good observation, Joe.
Yeah, they play, I think, it's backloaded to road games in the second half. I still think Ryan McMahon could still hit 30 home runs in that roster. I just don't know in the summer playing away how that's going to be.
That's good. Sure. I like that.
He's extremely talented. They really like him. He was a good prospect for them. He's always had the potential. As this year he puts together, I don't know. We'll see when he plays on the road.
Let's talk about his teammate, Brendan Rodgers.
Oh, come on, man.
It's been 3 years now.
What's the question?
The
Will he
question
stay
is,
healthy?
believe it or not, does he get better?
Is he for
I think
real?
He can't.
gets better.
I don't-
Well,
that's-
he can't get worse. So I mean,
Right.
Yeah, it
Right.
took it took Ryan McMahon like 5 years to get to where he's at. So let's only give Brendan Rodgers 140 games.
Oh, come on, man.
Believe it or not, Adolis Garcia.
Yay. I believe it. Only because I'm biased, though. Because I picked him up.
I believe in
Yeah,
everything
none of us are
except for the
biased,
stolen bases. I think he's got like 8 stolen bases and he's got like 9 times being thrown out, something really strange like that.
Oh, who's that?
If Dolis
Who cares?
Garcia.
He's
I'm
got
just saying, if the Rangers manager actually cared about baseball, they'd probably say you got to steal less.
He hits
Well-
home runs. That's what I have him for.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
that part. Well, I'm saying that other part. He's
Let's
not.
talk about some pitchers. Believe it or not, Taylor Rogers, Miami Marlins.
if you're believing long term, absolutely. How he's going to finish on innings, I don't know, but they're not really. They still believe they have a shot at the wild card. So his stuff is
What
electric.
does that mean? What would be different if they did or didn't?
I think if they were in, like, say, they're 20 games already under 500, I think Taylor Rogers pitches to August and they shut him down. But if
Yes,
they
you're
think they got a playoff shot, his stuff's good. His stuff is really, really, really good. And I'm biased to having him, but I also followed him as a prospect before I got him because I drafted him this year. His stuff's good. You throw 97 from the left side, you've got a shot.
He has been basically underappreciated in the big media. He has been terrific from day one this season.
And he's
Has he
gone up
got hit one time, Joe?
he got lit up his first start. He's got one other start of 3 runs, but other than that, it's 5 to 7 innings, 1 or 2 walks with
Every game.
Every game, it's the same thing.
That's name is Trevor, right? His name is Trevor.
Trevor
yeah.
Rogers.
Trevor.
I mean,
Right.
he has like a sub 2 ERA, which I mean.
No, he'll be in the mid.
That ain't
I
gonna
think he'll be low 3s. I think.
I think with this much of a start, he might be under 3. But if I were predicting like the beginning of the season based on what I know now, I would have him like 330, 340. But
Believe it or not, Tony Gonsolin.
I don't believe it all in him. 5 games and out.
What does he
Say that
do?
what?
5
What'd you
games
think?
and out.
What do you mean?
But he doesn't
I
have
mean,
a reason.
Like he's never really he's had one portion of a good year in his rehab starts. He's let up 4 runs in 10 innings. He's that long list of guys that Dodgers make us salivate about. In 2016 it was Jose De Leon. The year after that it was Brock Stewart. The year after that it was Ross Stripling. Last year it was Dennis Santana. He's the average. He's not. He was picked like in the
What
20th.
in the world are you talking about? What
The,
in the world are you talking about?
the difference with him and the other prospects is he was the only, and I had to literally research this. He was the only minor leaguer that had 2 pitches graded at 70 out of 80. I've never seen a prospect have that. I'm not saying it's obviously going to be, he'll end up turning into this great thing. He's got 3 good pitches he throws for strikes, and he's going to be the 4th or 5th guy, depending on how many injuries happen in the Dodgers.
Then you keep him. You keep him. I'm
But
not.
your
we all
reasoning is
stick
so
out.
bad that it just doesn't even make sense.
The reasoning is that every time I've seen him pitch, when he pitched in the minor, when he pitched in the spring training for the Dodgers, he was the 7th best starter. When he pitched in his rehab, he's not very good. When he pitched in the minors, the numbers last year were good, but in years prior they really weren't.
Every year he hasn't had an ERA over 3, dude. In the last 5 years, he's hadn't had an ERA over 3. But
I'm
one
saying
time.
all right, 6 weeks from now, when he's no longer the starter, then you can come.
So is
I
your
can come and tell
reasoning
you
that
something.
he's not good, or is it that he's not going to stick in the rotation because there's too many Dodgers, or because?
Well, no, that's the whole thing. Is that if everyone were healthy, he's their 7th best pitcher.
Okay.
And that's the thing. But they have really good pitchers.
No, I agree. He's the 7th best pitcher in the Dodgers rotation because you have Dustin May, who definitely would have been there.
Yeah, he would have been better. Believe it or not, Tariq Skubal.
I absolutely believe that.
I believe he's going to get Tommy John sooner than later because he throws.
I would believe that, but his stuff is as advertised in the minor leagues. That's where
I know what I'm believing in because I fully believe that he's a great strikeout pitcher.
11 strikeouts his last start.
But I don't think he's a guy that is going to be a sub 3 ERA guy. He's going to be between 3 and 4.
Say that again.
Yeah, I could see that.
Why though? Does he get hit a lot? Does I mean?
Well, because in the minor leagues they didn't push him 5 or 6 innings. They pushed him 3, 4. They considered him underneath Manning and Mize, and then he had 2019 is he had an awesome year, and his stuff is as good as a lot of people in the major league. His control was just bad.
I was going to say that there was a control issue, and guys with control issues tend to not have sub 3 area.
Yeah, it's never gotten better, but his stuff is. He could pitch 5 innings, get 9 to 11 strikeouts almost every start. That's how good his stuff is.
And I believe in that.
All right, last, believe it or not, please, Zach.
What's he doing right now?
I really don't know
Not
about
doing
him.
well. Not doing
Okay,
well.
all right. That's why I don't know.
I deliberately took some who were doing above expectations, and I took another group below expectations deliberately.
I mean, they liked Plesac. He was probably their second best pitcher they had. He's just been pitching poor. Savali's their best winning pitcher, but he's probably their third best. Plesac. I don't know what
best starter, Joe, on the Cleveland.
I think Savali is.
That's easy.
I think Savali is right now, but I don't believe in what he's doing.
Oh, Bieber's on the team. Yeah, Bieber's on the team. Forgot.
Oh yeah,
Bieber. Yeah, Bieber.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's a brain.
Take out Bieber. It's Savali and Plesac. Plesac's got way better stuff, but Savali is just he reminds me of like Kyle Hendricks. Doesn't throw hard, just has a book.
I have him on one of my fantasy teams, and I'm enjoying having him on the team. And he pitches what appears to me to be well for him. But then at the end of the week, when I look at like where he ranks, he'll rank like the 127th best player.
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
8-1 somehow.
Yeah, but like he's doing like the contributions he's making to my fantasy team are through basically innings which breed a little more strikeouts and those wins. Yeah. You know, I keep trying to I've thought about cutting him because of some weird things, but I keep trying to trade him, and I
just actually traded Savali in my league,
and I'm not getting any better. What'd you get?
So I needed a prospect because I needed to load back up. So I got the guy from Pittsburgh, the one that they traded for Italian, the Ronzi Contreras. Probably
I've heard good things about him.
And then I needed a bat. I ended up getting Ryan McMahon because I have like 7 injuries. Savali, pitching in our league is very hard to come by. I did want to trade Savali, and minor leaguers are really hard to do. Oh, and I traded Josh Bell in that trade, but Josh Bell I have 3 first basemen, and Josh Bell doesn't even play every day. He's a platoon now in Washington. So
I would bet him play Ryan Zimmerman if I were managing them.
Yeah, I mean the trade is on his side as far as what the potential could be. I just don't believe in Josh Bell being platoon, and I like Ryan McMahon just enough because he plays first, second, third, and outfield.
Yeah, that's a good argument. Yes, Andy.
I'm just waving at Matt Hooper and Jamie Gates. I'm looking at the chat room. Sorry.
Okay, moving.
I didn't do this.
Moving on to the next topic. This has been fun. Great discussion. I appreciate it. All-star team. Yes, go ahead, Andy.
No, go ahead. I was just going to talk about Zach Plesac.
Early candidates for All-Star team. We'll start with the American League catcher. Who do I hear nominated for catcher?
Sally Perez.
Perez?
I don't care.
For which league?
I don't really care about the American League, but I do care
about
the
American League. Yeah, well, I'll do both leagues just for fun of it.
What?
Catcher. It's pretty much a runaway, Doug.
Yeah. It's Perez.
First base.
Or doing American League first?
I'm doing American League.
Mancini should be first baseman.
Vlad Guerrero.
Vlad's playing first.
Doesn't he play third?
No, he's playing first.
If I was designing the All-Star team, I would want to make sure I get all these power hitters there for the home run derby in Colorado.
Nobody even really plays the whole game anyway. Are we just talking like starters? Because I'm sure
I'm talking starters.
I'm sure Mancini will make it.
If you were voting for someone by position, who would you vote to be the starting first baseman in the American League?
I suppose it would have to be Vladdy. I mean, there's no argument.
He's so over the top. He's over his OBP is like 1.2 or something like that.
But
he's in the running for the Triple Crown.
Okay.
How he can't be the starter now? He's a liability on defense.
What about
it's 3 innings in an All-Star game.
Right. Second base.
I've really been impressed by Marcus Semien.
Marcus Simeon's been playing really, really well. Yeah.
You know what I did? Yeah, Andy.
That's fine by me. Marcus Semien.
I had Merrifield, but you guys have talked me. Semien has been terrific. Semien has been terrific. So I you could convince me. Shortstop. Bichet or Anderson?
Who? Oh, Bichet or Anderson. I'm not going to go first with any other ones.
What about Xander Bogaerts? Doesn't he play shortstop?
Xander Bogaerts a nice one too.
Yeah, Xander Bogaerts or Tim Anderson are the two that I'm torn between.
I like
Tim Anderson is hurt, but Bogaerts has played really well all year.
I think Bogaerts
I'd probably lean Bogaerts.
I would probably vote for Anderson, but I think Bogaerts will win that. Because when I vote, I get to use my personal preferences.
Yes, you do.
Third base, American League.
You got
Arenado.
you got Jose Ramirez is playing well this year for the Indians.
I think the story of the guy who played horribly last year who's playing great this year, who I vastly underestimated, is Jose Devers of the Red Sox, and I think the Red Sox can turn out votes.
I thought I saw today that Devers has 48 runs batted in. Is that possible?
I know he was leading the American League. He might be leading the majors.
I think he's got 48 runs batted in. Moncada was listed, but Moncada, who I own and who's hitting 300, where does power go? He's only got 5 home runs.
Does he have any steals? Because he's useless. He's just useless if he has no home runs.
Thank you.
I'm with you, buddy. I have him too.
I think Devers, left field. Who do you got for the left field? We'll just say left center and
you
right.
just got to do outfield pretty much. I don't think
the American League is really.
If you take out the injured people, I mean, Trout's going to get elected by the people. But if you were just picking the outfielders based on what they're doing, who would you put in the outfield?
A guy that's been performing well and it's been. I don't know because I'm just trying to pick the non-obvious ones. Andrew Benintendi's playing well.
He's playing very well.
300, 6 home runs, 7 steals. I mean, obviously, we still have a month left. I
think Buxton returns before the thing and he wins a spot.
You got Adolis Garcia. I think definitely will. Even if he hits okay the rest of the way, I think his numbers will still be good enough based on his home runs.
And has the All-Star ballot come out yet?
It just went out.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering. Is JD Martinez is listed as an outfielder?
Oh, I can tell you right now. I got the All-Star bracket or roster.
Because if he's listed as a DH, JD Martinez might not get voted in.
First base, what position?
I just want to know where JD Martinez is. If he's an outfielder, I'd vote for him from the outfield. He's played a number of games. He's played like 16 games or something.
Yeah, I'm checking right now what they consider him.
Because
they consider him. No, he's a designated hitter.
Yeah, because the top vote getter this year is going to be Shohei Ohtani winning that DH spot. And
yeah, for sure.
And that hurts JD Martinez. I would have put JD Martinez in the outfield. Now that I can't, I got to rethink that one position. But
how about Cedric Mullins?
Cedric Mullins having an unbelievable year. I mean, I would probably do Garcia. They don't even list Mullins. Oh, there he is, way down there. Yeah, he's like way in the bottom. I mean, probably Mullins. Probably got to have Adolis Garcia currently.
Yeah, I just wonder about the American League getting like 2 of these guys with one hot year in there.
I mean, Aaron Judge is hitting 295 with 14 home runs. So I mean, that's
he might get in there.
Yeah, I could see Aaron Judge there. For sure. I mean, Aaron Judge will definitely get voted in on those numbers.
You know what? The popular vote, he might, and I didn't realize he had 14. He's not having a bad year.
He's been hurt, and he still has 14 home runs. So, Aaron Judge, you'll lose him for 3 months.
Joe, I honestly didn't realize he had 14.
I did not know he had 14 home runs until I just checked.
From out of nowhere. from out of nowhere.
And being a Yankee guy, he'll get the votes out, and so it probably means that one of Adalis and Mullins wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Who's your starting pitcher for the American League?
Ooh, that's actually interesting this year.
Bieber probably.
He,
Bieber's been a little more human, Doug.
Well, I'm just saying, like there isn't really a player like in the National League. You could see like voting in. Well, let's say Verlander was healthy and not quite as good as Bieber. You might go, for the years of work, this guy is an all-star with the guy we want to see. I don't really see that guy in there. I
would think Garrett Cole's been really, really good. Man, that's tough.
A lot can happen between now and then, and I don't think Cole has the same gravitas as I was saying about some of those other players. Like Scherzer.
I think Bieber's been the better pitcher. I think Bieber should get it. Bieber's been but it's close between those two.
National League catcher.
Buster Posey needs to be there. If that wasn't there, I wouldn't watch it.
Oh, but I like Yachty though too. Yachty.
I like Yachty, but Buster Posey is a long-term great player, and he's having a phenomenal year. He's the definition of what you want to see at an All-Star game.
I mean, Carson Kelly.
Yeah, Carson Kelly, if he had stayed healthy, would be a good argument. I'd still vote Posey over it. But I think we named the three catchers that'll be there.
But Posey 10 home runs, batting 330. Yeah,
I'm kind of with Douglas on Posey because he has been outstanding. I had him on my list for like 2 or 3 drafts and never got him, and I regret it. I do have Yachty in 2 leagues. First base, National League.
Jesus Aguilar, leading the National League in RBIs, and he's got 14 home runs.
What's he got? 48 runs batted in?
Yeah, he's the best hitting first baseman currently in the National League, and there's some people close, but I mean.
Joe, could you imagine the Brewers if they still had Aguilar?
Could you imagine Aguilar in the home run derby in Colorado?
Yep. I had down Muncie for me for first base.
I could do either one. They're so close.
I would still vote for Freddie Freeman. Nobody's impressed me so much that I'd rather have him in an All-Star game. And Freeman's been okay. Average is low.
I don't know. I'm good with. I think we should put Vladdy over there at first base. I mean, what are we talking about?
National League.
Oh, I don't even know what we're talking about.
No worries. That's all right.
Okay, I'm daydreaming. So
that's okay.
First baseman for the National League. I don't know. I mean, I'm good with anybody. I'm good with anybody that the fans choose.
I still deep down in my heart, like I root for the National League over the American League. I really do.
I would try to get Albert Pujols there.
Look, Jesus Aguilar's got 48 RBIs on the Marlins. All right,
I'm good with him totally.
On the Marlins.
I'm good with him.
Yeah, think about that. Without a lot of runners on base, Aguilar's been terrific. How about second base, National League?
Ryan McMahon.
Is he playing second base?
That's where they list him. I was check. I had to see where they had him, but second base is official.
I kind of looked at him and went, "He's first." I don't know where he is.
In our show yesterday, somebody called and wanted to know if they should keep Ryan McMahon, or Tommy Edman.
Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon.
I don't agree.
I think it's close.
I don't think.
Well, Edman gives you a few bags. That's the only thing. You know, when you play fantasy sports,
he also plays a bunch of,
you never can get the steals out of your mind, because if you can get 10 steals out of 6 or 7 players, then you don't have to get a one-trick pony. What's Albies doing? Well, he was slow, but isn't he picking it up?
Oh, he's been doing really, really well lately.
Just
9 home runs, almost 40 RBIs, 256. He was all the way down to like 210, 215. So
You're probably going to laugh at me. I had Cronenworth on my list.
Cronenworth
just on pure excitement, and this is the guy I will vote for. And I believe he's second base, is Jazz Chisholm.
That's who I'm voting for, is Jazz. But if Aguilar gets in, you don't see Jazz.
He lost a lot of time, but per game played, you know what, Douglas? I kind of almost agree with you. This guy's going to be a superstar.
If Jazz Chisholm, that Zach Gallen trade's looking nice now, but if Jazz could get hot this last month or two, I think he could get to that second base spot.
See, when they traded Gallen, I thought they were morons. Is that where they got Chisholm, was from Arizona?
Yeah, for Zach Gallen. which at the time I didn't understand the trade because Miami needed pitching, but they also had depth. But I was like, Jazz Chisholm, let's see how it's worked well. Even if Zach Gallen ends up being healthy and plays, it's still a good trade for the Marlins. They needed bats before they needed pitching.
Shortstop, National League shortstop.
That's
Tatis.
Yeah.
Tatis.
I know Turner should get some love, but it's Tatis. You know,
It's Tatis runaway.
and we're not even mentioning my favorite baseball player, Javi Baez. I probably will vote for Baez over Tatis as a complete homer. but
Baez is
Tatis
not
really
having
good.
a horrible year, Douglas.
What?
I'm
He's
just
having a
saying.
great year.
He said not having a horrible year. He's doing the Midwestern.
No,
not
he's
thing.
still striking out too much, but he's having a pretty good year. Third base, National League.
God, that position's loaded.
Yeah,
But it has to be Chris Bryant. But he's definitely above the other guys, but it's close. I mean, you have Austin Riley batting .305. You got Escobar's got 14 home runs. Arenado's starting to heat up, and that's tough. They're loaded.
He's got the St. Louis voting machine behind him. They always overvote there.
Yeah, that's
What do you mean
loaded.
overvote? You're allowed to vote as many times.
You're allowed to vote as much, but some places have a little more impact because they're really good at getting out people to vote.
St.
10
Louis
times
and
you're
the
allowed.
Dodgers.
Yeah,
Well,
St. Louis is one of those teams.
Remember when Oakland got somebody on there? Who was that?
Well, I think the craziest one in my lifetime has been the Cubs center fielder who was an all-star about 12 years ago, Kosuke Fukudomi.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
And that's the reason why Shohei Ohtani is going to blow it away, because not only does he deserve it from the American standpoint, but he's going to get some 250,000 to 1 million votes from other countries.
Outfield, National League.
Acuna, Castellanos, and then the third one's kind of
Harper or Soto.
Tyler O'Neill.
no.
Wow, Tyler O'Neill's 278 and
No,
13 home runs.
no.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's fans. I think
The
Harper-
fans are going to like them, but I'm telling you, my vote is Jesse Winker.
I would move Castellanos to DH and have the outfield be Acuna, Harper, and Soto.
Yeah,
No, I think-
Harper's got 13 runs batted in.
That's it
Yep,
on the season.
yep,
13.
13.
Harper.
Check
Oh,
me
yeah.
out.
Harper's been hurt
Holy
quite a bit this
shit.
year.
But like if Trout came back the week before the All-Star game, I'd still want Trout in there.
Yeah.
Okay, last topic of the night, trade bait. It's not in your agenda. I apologize for surprising you.
No, that's okay.
Trade bait, Atlanta Braves.
You're talking like trade for fantasy or for the baseball?
No,
Major League Baseball?
trade bait for real teams. If you were GM of the Atlanta Braves, who are you looking to trade for, or who you looking to trade?
They need a starting pitcher and they need an outfield.
They need
I
a
agree.
bullpen, dude. That's better
Yeah.
than it is.
Yeah.
I agree on both counts. You got any names, Joe?
Outfield wise, I don't know who they could really get. I mean, there's some big names that are going to be out there. I don't know yet. I've been trying to figure out.
Don't they
the
have any prospects?
trade rumors have been light this year.
Yeah, because
They
right
really
now
have.
it's hard to count somebody out. Like I think that like for instance, a guy who's sort of odd man out if George Springer comes back is Randall Grichuk, but the Bleeders are going to be in it, so they're going to keep all their players. I like who is really out of it besides like all right, maybe Adolis Garcia on the Rangers. Somebody goes for that guy.
I mean, you got Chris. God, I couldn't imagine.
Chris
it.
Bryant might
going
be
to,
in it, but they might trade
going
him
to
for
a-
contract reasons.
Like
It's
trading him to Atlanta. There's your outfield.
Mitch Haniger is a guy that's supposed to be generally on the block.
Yep, Mitch Haniger as well.
Starting
Starting pitcher's a little tough this year.
What, they gave up on Pache already? They gave up on
I think they're.
Well, no, but
I think-
between not knowing what's going to happen with Ozuna and having the opening in center field, they definitely could use another outfielder.
I know they
have
like the water. They have that Waters kid in the minors that they really like, but they're still not ready to bring him up yet.
Yeah, he's improved this year, the strikeout part so far, but not enough that they're in love with it. I just try to think of player.
I think they need a starting pitcher. I think they need one more.
And that's even harder because like what name a really good starting pitcher on a bad team? Like the nature of being good
There
for pitchers.
was one that was mentioned earlier in this broadcast that if they could trade and get a ransom for him, Luis Castillo would be traded.
Or
I
maybe
doubt they're gonna-
You'd be selling.
I don't think they would, but if Atlanta came and said, "Hey, we can give you 3 high-level prospects," it would be hard for the Reds to say no.
what about
They're not
making a
going
move
to.
for one of those Colorado Rocky pitchers? They look pretty good on paper.
John
Yeah.
Gray would be a great find.
John Gray, moving John Gray would be good.
Sensatella does reasonably well. Even Austin Gomber has done reasonably well, and their team is out of it. Arizona's got, Gallen would be the key of that, but he's not pitching. The other guys don't have the draw. I don't think anyone's going to go nuts for. Though Madison Bumgarner might get traded. How long is his contract?
Yeah,
his contract is still insane.
He's falling off.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say if it's nearing the end, maybe somebody picks him up for a year and a half.
If you're the Washington Nationals, do you do a sell-off?
Oh, Scherzer's the big one that I think gets moved this year.
But they'll be in it, don't you think?
No.
I mean,
that
that whole NL East is sitting around with around 4 or 5 games.
I just don't think they think Scherzer, and Scherzer's publicly came out and said he would be open to a trade if they entertained it. Scherzer's going to be the big name that if somebody gets moved pitching wise, he's the guy.
What do you think the Nats could get from Atlanta for Scherzer?
They don't need a starting pitcher. They need a bullpen guy.
I don't think they'll trade him to Atlanta. I don't think they'll trade him to the division. Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened, but I don't think.
What could they get from the Toronto Blue Jays for Scherzer?
They can get something from the Cardinals.
I don't think Toronto really needs. Yeah. To be honest, their pitching's been pretty decent.
With the lowering of the bar for hitting this year, a lot of pitching staffs that we thought were kind of below average are actually pitching at average or slightly above.
Yeah.
Like my Cubs pitching staff is bad in my mind, but it's actually pitching okay. Yeah.
I don't think Toronto's going to sell any of their prospects at this point because they've got a lot of young players.
So they're not going to get fair value for Scherzer.
They have in their minor leagues two local kids. One played at Lake Brantley. Forrest Wall was Orange Christian, and they have Logan Warmoth out of Lake Brantley. I know those two. Lake Brantley kid.
I think if Scherzer gets traded, it's to the American League, and I think it's to the AL East.
I think it's to the Yankees.
Yankees or Red Sox. I don't see the Red Sox doing it, but they would surprise if they're in the running. I'll never. They've surprised me before with moves that I didn't think they would do.
If you were Mike Rizzo, the GM of Washington, who would you want from Boston in return for Scherzer?
Well, they got Jeter Downs. They have as a shortstop there.
Great minds think alike. Great minds, thank you, Joe. Jeter Downs.
The Nationals have what looks like a problem long term at first base, and Tristan Casas looks good.
Yeah, Tristan. Yep, that's another one. They do have some minor league guys that are like they got Jason Groom, who's he's struggled, but that's a minor league guy they'd be willing to sit in their roster.
And go long term and get the rights to Noah Song.
Yeah,
I like Tad Ward. He's a relief pitcher.
And the Yankees have a decent farm system. Finally, got Austin Wells. They got the young catcher that if he stays a catcher, they've got Delvey Garcia that they could move if they were to get Scherzer.
Is Florial ever going to be a major league player?
No.
Who?
Estevan Florial, best outfielder best possible catcher, and not on the Yankees.
Yeah,
he's only hitting about 240 in the minors.
I think the only prospect that's untouchable is Jason Dominguez. Everybody else is fair game in the minor leagues.
And everyone that's there is not anywhere close to a sure thing, but there's some decent guys there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've about run out of ammunition. Want to call it a night?
You run out of ammunition, Mitchell?
We still got 7 minutes left till that hour and a half.
You can't
I have a follow-up to a story I talked about a while ago.
Open topics in for 7 minutes.
Do you remember that trade that got vetoed by me? The Anderson for Castellanos trade that got vetoed.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
The guy who was vocal about vetoing that trade offered somebody in that league this week. Walker Buehler for JD Martinez.
Ooh.
Well, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with the other? Well, what
No.
was he mad about the other trade for? I can't remember.
Well,
what he said.
he said that Tim Anderson was too good for the thing, and so I pointed out in the bulletin board. I said, look, based on last trade, this is worse than that, and it is a trade. Like,
But like, who's better, JD Martinez or Walker Buehler?
JD Martinez by enough to be noticed.
Is it? Well, what do you mean?
But that trade, if you're
not a
needing
points
pitcher,
league.
if
It's
you're
not a
needing
points
pitch,
league.
It doesn't
No,
matter.
but
It depends
but
on
if
what
you
your
need
team
pitching,
needs.
yeah, if you need pitching, I could make a case for Walker Buehler.
I'm not saying that you can't make a case for it, but can you make a better case than the Castellanos for first week of the season? Castellanos for Tim Anderson was the
Neither
deal
of
that was
those should
vetoed.
be vetoed, dude. Neither.
I would neither should be vetoed. I would take the Tim Anderson side just because I think his value is good across the board.
And so basically, I pointed out that I went to the bulletin board and said, hey, this is kind of weird. You know, you were the guy that offered the veto on this, and you're making this trade, which this trade is a trade that if I were commissioner, I would totally approve of. But based on track record, I think you should rescind it or it should get vetoed. Anyway, people just went nuts. And
Based on track
Ooh.
Yeah, my brother just said.
Wait, did they go nuts? How? How did they go nuts?
one team, the other team that was involved in that trade, the guy that was giving up JD Martinez, today when I looked at the site, he had cut all his players.
Yeah,
Oh
that guy should be removed. That guy should be removed from the league.
Are you shitting me right now? He cut all his players.
No,
Yeah,
some
I'm not-
people do that. They get ticked off and they do that. My brother.
The reason why, I'm not saying I'm pro veto or against veto. I'm just saying that the reason why you have a waiting period on veto is to have a discussion. This particular veto had something that's never happened in the history of baseball before. It had an actual civil discussion about it. It basically said, I think it's a reasonable trade. I think one side wins trade, but one side wins every trade. I think it's pretty reasonable, but in the light of what we've done, this one probably should be vetoed. And people put things back and forth, you know what I mean? And then when it got vetoed, even though it was perfectly telegraphed that it was going to, he dumps all his players.
But the fact that he dumped all his players, he should not be allowed back.
No,
dude.
that's
That's
right.
unacceptable.
Let me show you the trade my brother wants to make. He wants to trade Scherzer for Verdugo. I don't blame him, but no way the Red Sox are going to give up Verdugo.
Oh, in real life, you mean?
Oh, real
What do
life.
the Red Sox
Oh
need?
yeah, no,
Okay, the Red
Verdugo's untouchable for them.
The Red Sox do not need Scherzer because they have some. I mean, their pitching is actually, it doesn't have any names on it, but it's pretty good.
It's kind of a bunch of weirdos, and they're doing all right.
I think they need a 3 or 4 starter that they can get a lot cheaper than losing.
What
No.
about
like a Mike Minor, maybe, because the Royals. I'm trying to go through names
come
of
on,
players
man.
on bad teams.
Mike Minor's not a good pitcher, so
I'm
He's
going to.
inconsistent. I made a trade offer to a guy in last place today who can't get back in the race, and I've got a chance to win the league. I
So
offered him.
Ooh, that actually
Lewis-
sparked a question I was going to ask after this.
What's that?
go ahead.
That sparked a question I was going to ask after you're done.
Oh, okay. Lewis, Robert, and Pablo Lopez for JD Martinez.
But-
I would take the Luis Robert side any day.
Yeah, good, but for next year. For next year. He's a stud.
Well, wouldn't you take that anyways? Wouldn't
Well,
you?
not for this year because of the injury.
He's out of the race. I wouldn't take it this year because Robert's not playing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, what was your question?
So
My
that's
question
and-
is,
and-
is that a reasonable offer
Yes,
to somebody who's in a sell-off?
yes, dude.
this may lead into next week, possibly. So who plays Dynasty besides Mitch? Does anybody have any Dynasty?
I
teams?
have a Dynasty League team.
I have one.
All right. So when is it too late in your Dynasty? So my Dynasty, just quick thing, you could keep players for 3-year contracts. After the 3-year, you can franchise them, but their salary goes up X amount of dollars. When is it too late in your season to start thinking next season? Because right now I'm in a 12-team format. I'm 10th. I've had a lot of injuries. I've had a lot of things happen, but I have chances to go out and get. If I need to, I can go get. What's the start? I can't believe forgetting his name. Drawing a blank. The San Diego prospect.
Mackenzie Gore.
Mackenzie Gore. I have opportunities to go get Wander Franco
What do you
But it
mean
would
too
co-
late? Is it too late or too early to do this?
So ours is head-to-head standings. I'm not too far. I'm actually quite a bit down now, but I've had injuries. Everybody
say
has,
August.
but I've taken it on the chin with COVID and
Right.
injuries. I had
August.
7 or 8 people out.
August 1st, Joe.
How many
Don't
playoff teams
quit.
are in your league?
How many playoff teams?
How many teams in the league total? How many playoff?
So 8. So we've increased it just because the last 2 years are crazy. It's 8 this year.
8 out of
But
16?
but the first 2 get the buys, and it's obviously a lot harder to go on.
You
to
have
get
to
8.
not quit yet. It is not time to quit.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet, but I'm wondering when is the August 1st sounds good, but when we get, because we're only allowed to trade up until X amount of days, but your first round picks, we're only allowed to trade in like a 2-week window in like late July, early August. That's the only window we do it because we don't want people trading first round picks all year and all that crap.
you have to make like a legitimate, like unbiased, like look at your team and go, can I actually win this or not? And that really also matters. Like, how good is the best team in your league?
So the question is, when should he do that?
Now my best pitchers right now. This tells you how bad it is. It's Dylan. Now, granted, I drafted horribly. I had injuries. I have Dylan Cease, Peralta, and Trevor Rogers are my best 3 pitchers.
Why don't
currently.
you then trade for a pitcher then instead of trading away to
Well,
good players?
the problem is the bats I have. So I have Trout. I'm not moving Trout because I just got him for 3 years.
Okay.
I have Bryce Harper. I have Machado. I have Ozzie Albies.
So these are all players that are going to play this year still.
Correct. But in our league, the value to get pitchers, I would have to trade like Mike Trout. Even healthy, people wouldn't even consider him for.
Trade a prospect. Have you ever heard of trading a prospect to win this year?
I trade. They've caught on now that I've collected so many prospects and up. They don't trade me prospects or take mine anymore.
They'll take them from you. They'll take them.
Yeah, I mean, you got 15 teams to choose from. I honestly, like what I was getting to is, it's only at the point when you say I can't possibly win this that you should give up.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I've never gotten to that point until it's way too late.
Yeah, like I have Bo Bichette, but I'm not moving Bo Bichette on a young contract. I still have him for. I just got him for 3 years.
No, a prospect. You have to. Sell
my prospects are Contreras, Savali from Washington.
I don't even know who they are.
Cavalli.
And I have Nate Pearson. I've had for a while.
Cade Cavalli is the Nationals' favorite prospect.
And then my other one is Joe Adell. So I have Joe Adell sitting there that I'm waiting for him to get promoted so I can add to my prospect wire, but I don't want to drop any of my prospects. Because I dropped Alex Manoah after having for 2 months with the injuries. I had a crunch. I had no choice because I had minor leaguers that were.
What's your prospect minimum? Well, I guess because Adell's in the minors, you can.
I could keep 5 minor leaguers once they get called up. Once they get called up, I have basically 5 days to send them back down. And if I don't send them back down, I'm ordered to drop them.
Well, the real thing is, I mean, Adell has 148 at bats.
Oh yeah, no, it follows the same minor league prospect. But with COVID last year, we did not play because 60-game season didn't make sense for the way our format is. So last year we froze the season, so all the prospects kept what they were from 2019. Okay. So that's why
that confuses a little bit.
Luis Robert, I was still able to keep as a minor leaguer just because it's
1988.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying hi to you.
Yep.
The interesting thing is that the number one prospect on the Angels is Brandon Marsh because Joe Adell no longer qualifies as a prospect.
Correct.
Not because of at bats, but because of time on the roster.
Correct. If we would have counted last season, Joe Adell would have been kept up. Like I had Urias Arias for 3 years because he never pitched 50 innings. They always kept him under.
Okay, I'm ready to bail.
Okay, dude. Yeah. Thanks for.
Yep. Thank you for everybody.
3 minutes until Jackson Kowar pitches.
I'm gonna go too. So.
Andrew, did you see the link I put in the chat? Our chat.
Our chat in the Facebook.
Yes.
I didn't see which one.
Use it.
Okay.
Matt,
I was looking at Douglas's poll, and I will definitely check out the link that you put in there for sure.
Yeah, it's MLB at bat Light. I don't know if we're allowed to say it in the air.
Yeah, you can. What is it?
MLB. It's a streaming site for MLB games. It's not MLB at bat.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, thank you,
And
Joe.
you could pause, fast forward, rewind, and archive all the games too.
That's
Okay.
great. So yes, we'll share it with people if they want it, but we're not going to share out loud because MLB.
Yes,
will get us.
yes, I
Bye.
understand.
Okay, good night, everybody.
All right, good night.